Hello, ladies. Are you guys ready for a fun interview? We're going to be bringing on Tory in just a sec, as soon as we can get our videos synced up. Hopefully we won't have any tech issues. So I know Tory, we were just talking and she's all ready to go. And hopefully the siren is just starting us off, because there's always a siren and maybe it's just going to get it out of its system. So hopefully we can connect with Tory in just a second. But thank you, ladies, for who are in the Commit to Fit challenge. It's been so much fun having some of you in there participating and sharing. And I really want to just give huge thanks to those of you who have shared about your experience with the Magic Makers movement in there, to Stephanie for your comment, for Krishnabai for your comment, and for hey Jessica, and for those of you who've sent me video testimonials, I'm editing them if I haven't already, and we'll be sharing them hopefully soon. So, all right, I see Jessica on, I see someone else is watching. Maybe that's you, Tory. Yay! Okay, got you. I'm gonna get you on the camera hopefully soon. I forgot to ask you, Tory, if you're on your phone or your computer, so just make sure you're on your phone. I think you can't connect if you're on your computer. So, it's not... Hey, okay, I'm trying to add you, but I'm not sure, I don't see the video option to add you. Like I can see it for Jessica because she's probably on her phone, but so if you're watching by your computer, Tory, so maybe do it by your phone, if that's, yay, okay. Let's add you. Okay. Hey,
We did it!
Got you now. How are you?
I'm great. Okay, good. Thanks for the tip about the phone here. Can you see me fine? I've got like it rigged now.
Yeah, no, I can see you. I know the same thing happened with me when I did an interview thing like this, and it was just like, oh wait, shoot, I can't use my computer. It would be ideal, but eventually,
Totally
hopefully that'll be an option for Facebook.
Perfect.
So thank you, Tory.
Oh my
Yeah, thank you for being on. I know sometimes it's like hard to get the timing right. But ladies, I know Jessica's on live, and I know a lot of the ladies are just crazy different time zones, so we don't usually have a lot of live action, but they always watch them later and catch the replay. I just share that with the ladies later. So, but Jessica, if you have any comments, questions, anything, shoot them down below, and we'll be sure to cover those. If not during it, at the end. But I wanted to just quickly introduce Tory. How do you say your last name, though? Because I always feel like I butcher it.
That's okay.
Dube?
Yeah.
Okay, I got it right. When I was doing the Insta story just a little bit ago, I was like, "Ooh, I hope I got that right." So
You're good.
So Tory and I met via the interwebs, virtually, about like 2.5 years ago now?
Yes.
Oh, there's another siren. Sorry, the girls know. I live by a fire station. There's always sirens going by. In my workout videos, every video. So Tory and I met through my sister-in-law when you were living in Indianapolis, and she is an amazing transformational coach that brings together a huge diverse background, which I think is incredible. I think it really serves your message and what you share, and it just makes it so much like fun. It's just amazing to get to know you. And for those of you, I know some of the ladies followed with me when I went to the Bliss Project. So Tory was my roomie, my sidekick there. And I'm just so excited to have you on, Tory, because I love your motto. Like, this is the fun stuff, because you live it, you inhabit it. You are the same in person as you are online, and just super fun. And also that brilliant blend of like digging into the deeper stuff and willing to do the work and not just be like, oh, this is fun.
Yes.
But real fun, soul fun. So so just maybe share a little bit about yourself if you want, like your background. I know you have so much background that I didn't know what you wanted to touch on.
Yes.
I love your bikini waitressing story though in Times Square.
Yes. Okay. So I'll surely be able to include that part. So first of all, thank you so much for having me. I adore you. I adore this space. I'm so blessed to be here to share this time with you women. Thank you for having me. And yes, like Carolyn said, my motto is this is the fun stuff. And it's not like I was just born and all of a sudden I had access to ease and flow and joy. It was absolutely a process. And I hope that after our chat today, you not only hear my wacky story and go, okay, well, she was a mess and she's doing okay, so I'm okay. But also you leave with some tools for implementation. And I have a little kit for you that I'll send you off with. And I know it's going to bring a lot of magic into your life. So we are in the magic makers movement. And I think that there's this misconception that we need to try and we need to do. And like I was telling Carol, we can't just squeeze ourselves like a citrus fruit and think magic is going to pop out. It's actually the inverse. And so in this process of creating this greater self-image, in this expansive version of ourselves, this robust ecosystem of our lives, you guys are working on your body and your food and your presence and your joy. And that's not only about your body and your food. You guys know that. It's about showing up more for your family, for your kids, for your partner, teaching your family how to show up for themselves. And then the ripple effect just goes on and on and on. But this is not something that we can struggle and strive and trudge through the swamp to get. We have to find ease. We have to find joy, because that's the magic sauce for this stuff sticking, for it being real. When we're trudging and we're struggling, now we're in a space of lack and all of the effort is for naught. So a bit about me. I dropped out of college when I was 19 years old. I made it through 1 year. I went on a full academic scholarship for business. So I mean, I just assumed I was going to be this badass entrepreneur at some point in my life, had no idea what that meant. But once I was there, I could not get over this gut feeling of like, this is not right for me. And I had really bad anxiety growing up, manifested in many ways in eating disorder. It was my physical outlet for feeling like I was in control. The more stressed out I was, the less I would eat. The more stressed out I was, the more I'd work out. At least I could feel like I was doing something productive to keep my body perfect. So my life felt a little bit less chaotic. So me dropping out of college was very out of character, because that you would think would induce more anxiety. And then also deciding that I was moving to New York City was very out of character too. And my parents, they were just so desperate for me to be happy, for me to feel fulfilled. It's like, girlfriend, we have no idea what we're talking about, but just go for it. So I dropped out of college. I moved to New York City, and I do a dance internship with Robert. A dancer. I just decided on a whim, oh, you know, screw the entrepreneurial route. I'm just going to be a professional dancer. While the odds of that coming true are much less than running a successful business, I just followed the joy, right? So I followed my joy in movement and dance. To supplement my income, I waitressed in my bikini in Times Square at a restaurant called Hawaiian Tropic Zone. It was not my first time, but after going to every single restaurant in Times Square and hearing you either need to have New York experience or you need to commit to being a full-time New York City waitress, we don't want you. So this was the only place that would take me. So, after a couple weeks of thinking it over, put my bikini on a million times, looking in the mirror, asking my roommates, like, do you think that they'll hire me? Is this absolutely ridiculous? Am I crazy for thinking this is a possibility? I just eventually needed to pay rent, and I just went for it, and I did it. So I thought I'd take quick little stint. Like numerous years of waitressing my bikini. Well, yeah.
No, I have to say, Tori, that's actually really brave, especially for a young 20-year-old. So, you know, it sounds like this crazy, silly story in a way, but I don't think I would do that.
Yeah.
You know, I would have been too scared. So just want to say you're a badass for doing that.
I didn't even have the shame component then. I just was excited in New York City. It's not like I was going, okay, this is shameful. This is not like, the scariest part to me was being exposed. I didn't even think about sexuality. I didn't even think about any of those things. I just felt so bright eyed in New York City, and I'm like, I'm just gonna make it work. So long story short, through this waitressing job, I got hired to do interviews. I wanted to improve my public speaking. So I started doing stand-up comedy. I then started working with a comedy troupe and making comedy videos. And so what is so hilarious is by saying yes to this New York City dream, and then by saying yes to my bikini waitress, not so much a dream, but the job, it just led me to all of these new lily pads. And at the time, I thought that I was failing in one direction and then like going for the next shiny object. And this happened for a long time. This led me through nonprofit work, which led me to ultimately going back to school for holistic nutrition and hypnotherapy, what I do now. But when I was going through the motions then, I was thinking that I was failing and changing gears. And it wasn't until probably even last year, the year before that, that I was able to sit in this and look back and go, holy smokes, the magic of where I am now was just because I was easefully following the joy that excited me. And so I think that it's a trap of, we're brilliant, perfect women. We want to do great. But if we were to stop and try to think about it too much and forget about checking in with the joy, checking in with the emotion, what's my soul saying here? Even if logically it doesn't feel like it makes sense yet, that is what's going to lead us to what we want, instead of trying to think our way through. And luckily I was just young. I didn't know that I was supposed to sit and think my way through. So my joy just carried me along, but that's how I am exactly where I am now. And thank goodness I've had public speaking experience, and I was a stand-up comedian, and I went through my own eating disorder. Like, thank goodness I had all of these high and low points, because now they help me be the fullest expression of who I am. And there'll be so many more sheddings of this current Tory to get to an even more full expression. And that's a process that you guys are going through now. So in that's a great story, right? But what does that mean for you? And so in this work that I do as a therapist, we, and a transformational coach, we are accessing the conscious minds. We're finding more intentionality about how we consciously show up, about slowing down, taking up more space in the right now. Joy doesn't have to mean spending a day at Disneyland or the beach, right? In comparison to spending a day at your computer. What if the day at the computer was also joy, but a different flavor of it, right? So we're finding some intentionality in the consciousness, but then also you've created this internal self-image of the woman who needs to be perfect, of the woman who will never get the perfect body, of the woman who, if she doesn't get the A+, the 100%, lose the 10 pounds, make the 100 grand, that she's not good enough. You've created this internal self-image subconsciously by living your life. So you can't rewire it and build a different subconscious image of yourself through effort. It has to also be through the same easeful process of living your life, by doing the internal work through visualization, through hypnosis, by then validating that internal work by making new conscious choices. So it's like a cyclical process of, we work through the internal stuff through visualization, because in visualization, your body doesn't know the difference between what you're imagining in your mind, this beautiful moment of you crossing the finish line, or you launching the business, or you finishing the race. Your body doesn't know the difference between that being real and that being an actual, that you get to validate your new self-image, or it being a visualization. So when you visualize yourself in this new up-leveling of where you want to go, it's like you get to put a coin in that piggy bank of, that's where I'm going to be. That's who I am now, right? So we pair that with, then in the conscious, we need to have integrity with the words we speak, the thoughts we think, the actions that we take. Give ourselves a moment to breathe, and then say, what's the empowered choice in this equation? Where am I going to go from here? So for you guys, there's a fun place to start. And you don't even need to know anything about that subconscious crazy stuff, anything about the conscious. We just want to start getting you closer to the feelings that feel really good. Because the truth of it is that's where your home is. That's why it feels so good. You don't feel amazing because the beach is the best place to be, and that's where you have to be to feel good. You feel good because you're allowing yourself to feel good.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. When you feel bad. Oh yeah, well, Carolyn?
Just real quick, like, would you, because the girls asked me this too, but like, would you say that when you just, like, when you think of fun, do you think of, or like when you mentioned joy, like you were following your joy?
Yeah.
Was it like fun in the process of that? Like, do you kind of think of joy and fun and like, just like how you would maybe define it, or in this process that you're talking about?
Absolutely. So it was a bit of both. So when I signed up for my stand-up class, there was a bit of fun in it, but there was also 90% of, holy shit, this is terrifying. What am I doing?
Totally.
But there was a tug in me that said, no, we need to do this. Go do it. And you guys know, when you have tugs, you'll be able to differentiate between, once you start checking in, once you start getting really intimate with the conversation in here, you'll be able to differentiate whether this feels scary. because I'm forcing myself to do it, it's out of alignment. It feels bad versus this feels scary because I know when I step into this, I'm going to be the next version of myself and I'm going to be a bad. Yes. So to answer that, it didn't always feel easily fun. That's for sure. Like, especially some of the bigger steps, but it's not like that. Those were the only moments of fun. In this process of allowing myself to feel joy and have fun, I also had access to the easeful moments of fun, like seeing a sunset and allowing it to be fun, or listening to a podcast while I do the dishes and allowing that to be fun. So I think the bigger picture is the more we step into that space of joy, the more we build that musculature and we learn that it's available to us even in the scary shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for you guys, I want to gift you this process. It's called the Morning Manifestation Generator. And it was born out of needing to create a process for one of my clients. I wanted to like get on one worksheet the emotional integrity we were trying to attain in a day, right? Like the awareness, making an empowered choice about how we want to feel. I wanted her to write it down so she could see it. And then also really acknowledge like the foods that go in my body. I'm sure you guys have heard this from Carolyn a million times. The foods that go in your body, that contributes to how you feel. The media that you ingest, the conversations that you keep, the friends that you surround yourself with, that contributes to how you feel. So we have to make a choice. We either decide to feel better with what's coming in, or we start having integrity with what gets through your door, right? So this worksheet, it's not meant to be like a Bible for what you'll do for the rest of your life ever, because that's way too overwhelming. That's just feeding into this idea that we need to be perfect. But instead, it's just a daily check-in. It's something you do in the morning. I do it in the afternoon sometimes, even if I feel out of whack, because it just allows me to sit and be present and put some words to paper. And it's just bringing you through the process of, what is it that I'm really yearning for? Like, what is your goal in this group here? What is it that you really want? And once we identify it, say it is, I want to run that marathon, right? So being able to look at that goal and understand that beneath every goal, it's really just desires and feelings. And once we can put a name to what those desires and those feelings are, like connectedness, intimacy with my body, chance for celebration, proving to myself that I can overcome challenges, whatever those feelings are that you're craving, once you put a name to them, now you can start seeing them in your life everywhere. You'll start seeing moments of intimacy that you have access to with your husband, with your wife, with your children, with the dishes. You'll start seeing this chance for accomplishment, like whatever you're craving and needing to check something off the list, you can start using it for your business and actually make a checklist and check. So being able to understand that we don't need to qualify and quantify the wins. There's so many wins in the day now. It's just a conscious decision. So I would love to gift you guys this. There's so much more content in the little package that you'll get that will walk you through the worksheet. And because I can't screen share on this video, there's no use in trying to explain it. But it's a fun process. And even if you only understand 2% of what the prompts in the worksheet, just answer them. And they're going to invite you to feel feelings. And that's already the return on investment in the process. So just answer the questions. Allow yourself to sit in those feelings, and then allow the magic, as you guys say, to be created in your life and let it flow through you.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so grateful that you're sharing that with us too, Tory, because I've seen you do it sometimes, like I think on your Instagram stories or those kinds of things, and it's like a little behind the scenes. I'm like, oh, what is that process? So I'm excited to try it. It's exactly the premise of the magic makers, right? We only get magic when we do, like you say, move your tootsies. Like when you do a little bit of like that work, you have to do that work. But what I love about you in particular, and what I'm trying to infuse this group more with, is just that, like, it doesn't have to feel heavy. It doesn't have to feel like this drudgery. And actually, if it does, then that's a really big clue that you're not on the right path. Like, it doesn't feel streamlined. It doesn't feel, like you said, like that check-in with yourself, and just feel like, yes.
And what
we've been calling them.
Yeah. What was that, Carolyn?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
The more that we find that space of lightness and joy, even through the hairy, scary stuff, like it's not necessarily like it's going to be unicorn and rainbows all the time, but you could still have this feeling of, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to be okay. And sometimes we need that more than anything. But also, once we get used to that being the norm, it's actually, the heaviness is going to be the indicator that we're out of alignment. Like you said, that's actually going to be our tap on the shoulder to say, hey, girlfriend, you need to get back into alignment. You need to get your mind, your body, and your soul on the same page again. So the heaviness then becomes a tool for us. It's just like my eating disorder, it was such a source of shame for me for 13, 15 years. But then once I figured out that it's actually a tool for me, I have that inclination now when I'm anxious to start limiting my food, to feel like I need to get in better shape. Like the little gremlins in my head go crazy still, and I might never lose that. But now I don't give in to them. I just notice that it's a tap on my shoulder to say, okay, the gremlins are back. It means that you've lost the alignment. So get back there. Like, stop right now. And I use this worksheet all the time to generate those good feeling emotions that are my truth again. So the gremlins can go take a free time, at least a couple hours until they return again.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, because it's exactly like, they're not going to magically disappear. The challenge is not going to go away. Yeah. It's just how we adjust, how we change in reference to them.
Yeah. And we don't want them to go away, because how would we know what feels good? How would we know that we're on the path, that we're following our joy, if we didn't have anything to compare it to? Those moments of heaviness, those are the bowling bumpers. They knock you back into alignment. They're an invitation to go, okay, something's got to change. Fortunately, so many people, so many women, they've just accepted that the heaviness is part of the human experience. And it is in many ways, but it doesn't need to be the status quo. It doesn't need to be the day-to-day. So because you guys are here, you've already raised your hand to the big you, to the universe, to say, I know I can feel better. And so now this is your chance to really notice those moments of heaviness, instead of deciding that they're your identity, that you're worth. Just take them as a little tap on the shoulder from yourself, going, hey, Barb, time to have some fun here. Time to tap into some joy and not take life so seriously.
Yeah. What do you see as kind of the main ways, or what, when you like work with your clients or for yourself, that really holds you or them back from feeling that joy or those moments of lightness and having fun? Because I feel it, like I can get into the heaviness and just like the grind, but what do you feel like is holding them back?
It's always living outside of today. It always is. I mean, every source of stress is either you're in the past or you're in the future. And so this moving meditation is really just when our brain and our mind are in the same space. So I guarantee if you're feeling anxious about something, your brain is in this room, but your mind is in another room. So it's always just that, but we don't even have access to the awareness around that process when we're in that swirl, right? Because we're so overwhelmed. We keep thinking, I need to come up with a solution to feel better. Where really the equation is, I need to feel better to have access to a creative solution. So it's like emotion has to precede the solution. And that's like, I say that probably 50 times a day. The emotion has to precede the solution. And I need to remind myself of that all the time. I can get stressed out about something in my business, about God knows what. And I will think, but if I figure out how to fix it, then I'll be allowed to feel better. And I have to go, no, that's the trap. I have to feel better. And then when I feel better, I'll have access to a solution.
Yeah. So how do you love to feel better? Like, what are your go-tos to, I mean, I know some of them, but not all the ladies do.
So music, moving my body. You guys, like, you're an ecosystem. Moving your body. If you can't move an emotion or a thought, move your physical body. And in that ecosystem, you'll move the energy. So moving my body, I have a puppy who drives me insane. He's perfect. Every time I'm stressed out, he gets more of an asshole. So like when I'm really like feeling so stretched thin, he'll be so bad that I will have to rearrange the schedule and bring him out to a park. The outdoors really help me to connect. Just also like watering my plants and just feeling like purposeful. Sometimes I'll just do something to get stuff moving, like wash the dishes, because we can just get stuck in that paralysis of, I don't know where to go, so I'm just going to let everything fall to crap. Whereas, no, if you can't work on the super important big thing right now, just keep moving with something else. It like get the energy moving and allow yourself access. But I encourage my clients to generate a list of 50 free things, 50. And we have access to those free things all the time. We just actually have to stand up for ourselves, stand up in that standard for ourselves and implement that. Like, it could be watching your favorite funny cat video on YouTube. I don't care what it is. I just care that you implement it and let yourself off the top.
Yes. Oh, I love that idea. That's going to be our assignment, I think, for this week will be to have the girls do that, to make that list, because,
Yeah.
and to do your manifestation sheet,
Perfect.
because I need that. It's totally funny though, because like this challenge is a little bit selfish. I'm like, I need a little more fun and peace in my life and just like lightness. And yeah, exactly. To feel those emotions, to get back to that, so that will open up the path, right? Of like the solution. I love that. Emotion before the solution. Or what did you say? Emotion brings
Precedes
the
the
solution?
solution. Yeah. Proceeds. Emotion precedes.
Yeah. Proceeds.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And that's really the master sauce of our whole existence. It's like that's the core. And then now how can we implement some tools and techniques to just allow us to remind ourselves in the moment? Like there's like a crazy version of us that does not have access to even remembering that the possibility in that moment. So how can you set yourself up when you're centered to be available to be the best friend to the crazy version of you? You know what I mean? So like I have
Yeah.
my tools and my tips like taped all over my wall. So when I'm nutso and I'm in the swirl and I can't remember that I have to feel better before I can get a solution, I can at least just look on the wall and be like, oh, it's right there for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just learning to be our best friends and set it up so literally. So it's just available to us. Like we can't miss it when we need it.
Yeah. Do you mind, like, just to be like, I think like getting really practical and just like to have examples? Would you share, like, even if you just did like what you've done so far this morning for you, because you're on the West Coast, or like yesterday, like walk us through maybe a day of your routine, your rituals that help you come back to creating those emotions that drive you to have the solutions.
Yes. So I have a hard time getting up in the morning. It's like a new thing, a new phase in my life. I used to like be up for whatever reason. So I get up right away, put on some clothes, and then I take my dog for a walk. So I'm outside, I get the air on my face. And then when I come in, I try to leave at least an hour. I know that's not possible for everybody, and it's not always available to me, but if it is available, I'll take it. If it's only 5 minutes, then I'll do something with it. But I create space for me, and then I do my morning manifestation. I have a visualization that I've created for my clients that I'll use. I used that this morning. I journal and just like brain dump, so I don't have to carry around like to-dos or anything in my head. Like I'll just brain dump. And yeah, it's just a process of creating that intentionality before I start. But then like that part, that's easier, right? We can definitely figure out the time and make it happen when nothing's happened in the day yet. But then the magic is in the day when I get knocked out and I get stressed and I have had enough water and I booked too many clients, so I didn't eat. In those moments, that's when I have to remember, okay, I feel bad. My physical body feels bad. I need to stop, drink a shake, drink a smoothie, do something, let myself laugh, stick my head out the window, whatever it is, and let myself get back to center. And then before bed, I intentionally decompress. So if I think of the day as a ritual, right, we open the day with the morning manifestation, the visualization, the journaling, whatever it is. And then at the end of the day, I want to close the ritual. I also don't want to bring in any of the chaos into my sleep. So I like taking baths. I like bringing Rango to the park, and I'll just sit and read a good book that has nothing to do with self-help, nothing to do with work, just like a good narrative that makes me feel good. And then I say my prayers before I go to
bed. That's awesome. Thank you. That's good. It's just helpful, I think, to know what other people do. So when you're like, seems like I kind of get an idea of what I should do, but you know, like I think like even for me and my work in the business, like I maybe will imitate somebody else at first, and then it starts, oh, that doesn't feel right. I'll do this instead for me because that'll work. But it's nice to just get pointers. So thank you.
And eventually you'll have
I know
that you like some days it will feel
exactly.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And there's
have your like toolbox to go to.
Yeah, right. There's a podcast episode with 50 free tools. So you can also listen to that and just feel them.
Yay. Awesome. Oh, I think I did listen to that. I listened to that. It was like a little while ago though, right? Yeah. Well, I know we need to wrap up, but if any of you have questions for Tory, oh yeah, Jessica says amazing way to change mindset, feel better before you solve the problem. That's so cool. Yeah, Jessica, I was thinking about you. I'm glad you're watching this. Oh, hey, Bex. Bex it's late for you over in England, but I'm glad you popped on. So thank you so much, Tori. And I really appreciate you sharing that guide with us. I will definitely make sure that all the ladies get that. And yeah, is there anything else you wanted to make sure we covered or go over?
I don't think so. I hope you enjoy the morning manifestation. Come hang out on the podcast. Drop me a note at any point. And yeah, enjoy the magic ride. I'm so happy for you guys to be hanging out with Carolyn and creating magic in your lives.
Thank you, Tori. You helped make it even more magical.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks guys for listening in, and thank you, Tori. I really, really appreciate your time. I know you're a busy lady, and I know every time I talk to you, I just feel 10 times better and just like happier and just really light. You just remind me of that that part of myself that I want to be the best.
You are the best. We're all the best already. Just let yourself. Okay, ladies, have an awesome day.
Bye. Ciao.